Alrighty, getting into where we left off last time. This is the second last video of the Marceline base, which I wanted to be the last, but there's one more after this. But we get a lot done in this episode, so get ready for a big one. We're starting off sanding the paint from where we left off last time and getting it ready for the finishing coat.
Adventure time! Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands. We'll take the dog and then the hill and the fun will never end. It's adventure time.
Alrighty, starting off with the last of the detailing. As you can tell, it makes a world of difference when you put those cartoony lines on there, because man, it looks so much better. It looks so much more accurate to the show, and it just really pops compared to how it was before. Last little once over with the body connected to the neck, and yeah, it's looking great.
Okay, so as you can see, it's a little streaky, but again, that's kind of why we sanded it, to highlight these, and then we're going to fill them in by rubbing this with the poly.
Hitting the sand on the clear coat, that's the first clear coat, which I put on with a brush, which I would not recommend in future. It was a bit of a headache, so it caused some issues at the start, but as you can see, we remedied them, and I think the finish comes out great in the end. So next we hit it with a little fill-in with a microfiber cloth, which really filled in those gaps, and it made it a little better than it initially was with the brush. As you can tell, it's still a little streaky, but that's going to get better as time goes and as while I'm sanding it. So yeah, for the first coat, I was really happy with this.
Alright, after coat number 3, a little bit dust in there, it is looking pretty smooth. It's getting there, honestly. Yeah, look at that.
So yeah, this was the final coat, I think coat number 4, and yeah, it's a lot smoother than it was with the brush on. It's still not perfect, but again, we're just doing this because it's going to be sanded flat later before we hit it with the polish anyway. And here's the back, same thing done with this. I think I did 3 or 4 coats here as well. I was just getting the consistency right doing the front. I probably should have done the back first, but it worked out really well, so I'm quite happy with that. So next, I hit it with the sand, and as you can tell, all those streaks are gone now. It's very flat, very smooth, very nice. There's just a couple of micro scratches in it if you look close, which makes sense because I hit it with an 800 to start with. So yeah, it's going to be a little coarser, and I go up to 2000 later, I think. And there's a side by side, and as you can tell, it's really night and day from the brush on compared to the wipe on. And yeah, that's the whole front done. I think that's after I hit it with 2000 on the edges. As you can tell, yeah, very smooth, very nice, very flat, no more streaks, and I was honestly loving how it looked at this point, but I decided to do gloss in the end anyway. Here's the back as well, very nice, very smooth, very flat. I think this actually isn't the final coat I did, and this was just the 800 grit sandpaper instead of the 2000, but I did end up doing it to 2000, and I started with polishing. It wasn't great at first. This was the first time I've ever done any polishing like this, so it took a while to get used to. A lot of people have polishing wheels specifically for this. I don't have the liberty of having that, and hand polishing this would have taken forever. So I've just got this foam pad attached to my drill with a little Velcro bit thingy, and yeah, I used a medium fine Maguire's polish, and I think it turned out quite well in the end.
So I'm having to polish this by hand to get into here, because otherwise it's creating these little, well, you can't really see on the camera at the moment, but it's creating these little divots in there, which is what we would call not ideal in the business, if you ask me. So yeah, I'm having to get in there with my fingers. I should probably be wearing gloves for this. I don't think it's the hugest deal though, as long as I don't lick my fingers afterwards, which you'd be worried if I did, right? So yeah, I'm just going at this by hand because it's just not quite polished enough. You couldn't reach in these with the pad sander, right? So you know, that's how it is.
Alright, so with the back done, there's some like fingerprints on the edge there. It's not scratching, but as you can tell, it looks pretty damn good. The gloss finish, it's nighttime, so it's a bit harder to tell than the day, but the gloss finish is super mirror, super nice, and I honestly love how this turned out. After all the work it took, yeah, I'm really happy. Anyway, moving on to the front now, you can tell I'm wiping it down with an isopropyl alcohol to start with, just to take out all of the little dust from the sanding, little dust specks, and getting it nice and wet and ready for the clear, the medium fine cut, I should say again, to polish it up with that disc. And this took a while. I'll admit that the polishing took fucking forever, to be honest, and I am happy with how it turned out, so no issues there. But it took hours. It took a lot longer than I thought it would, and man, my arms were absolutely burning. That's the difference there. Having a dedicated polishing wheel for like this kind of thing would have made it so much easier and fatigued me so much less. But this genuinely took like a whole day, if not two, because you saw in the last video I did the back. Yeah, about 2 days of work just to polish this up. But as you'll be able to see in a second, man, am I happy with how this turned out.
Lovely and polished. Absolute mirror finish on this, phenomenal. This is unfinished. I'm gonna put oil on this, coconut oil probably. Headstock right here, lovely and glossy as well. There's something on my lens. I think there's something on my lens. No, it's not. Let's give this a flip. And this is the back, also polished. Lovely. Neck, also glossy and polished. And same as the back of the headstock.
Alright, so as you could tell, I was pretty chuffed. I was tired, it was late at night, but I was really happy with how it turned out. And if you haven't already, I would recommend dropping a sub and a like, and following the TikTok, because I've done a lot of small updates on there, and the support on there has been crazy. So if you haven't already, hop on there, take a little peek, and I'll see you in the next one, because this will be coming out very soon, and I'm super proud to show how it looks.